Antietam occurred on September 22, 1862, between Robert E. Lee and George McClellan. This was an attempt to invade the North and was considered the single bloodiest one-day battle of the Civil War. Lee took advantage of midterm elections and unrest in the Northern ranks to invade. He beat McClellan in Richmond, which required McClellan's army to move into Frederick, Maryland. After Lee's army divided, McClellan's army found a copy of battle plans in the abandoned campsite. Lee found out about the found copies of the battle plans and rushed to reunite his troops. On September 14th, half of Lee's army sustained heavy casualties from McClellan's army. He had planned to retreat to Virginia, however, Stonewall Jackson's capturing of Harper's Ferry required him to think otherwise. He ordered his troops to Antietam Creek, and they faced off against the Northern Army across a 30-acre cornfield.
After the Battle of Antietam, Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on September 22, 1862. Though often understood as a document that freed the slaves, the proclamation actually said that all slaves in the rebellious states would be freed on January 1, 1863. At that point, all slaves in the states that fought with the Union were not freed. According to this document, if the South had surrendered before January 1st, they would have been allowed to keep their slaves. Lincoln knew the CSA would not give up, and this document would end slavery once the war was over. It would also be the moral issue that kept other European powers out of the conflict.
The Battle of Gettysburg was fought in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It took place on July 1st to July 3rd, 1863. The Confederate Army was led by Robert E. Lee, and the Union Army was led by George G. Meade. Over 50,000 soldiers were killed during battle. It was ultimately a Union victory. This battle was the turning point of the Civil War.
On June 1, 1865, Senator Charles Sumner referred to Abraham Lincoln's famous speech. The Gettysburg Address was 10 lines. Although it was short, President Lincoln's words were very empowering. President Lincoln offered a rationale for the war and a purpose for why so many men fought. Even though Abraham Lincoln's 1863 speech in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is a speech that everyone remembers, Lincoln was not the featured speaker that day. That honor went to Edward Everett. Lincoln and Everett had traveled to Gettysburg to dedicate a national cemetery.